Well, good evening, everybody. Bearded Ford Tech here. Welcome back to the channel if you're not new here. If you are new here, welcome to the channel. Please consider hitting subscribe. This is a body control module out of a 2021 F150 equipped with the 5.0 liter. And the customer's concern was the reverse lamps stayed on and it was killing the battery. So why would the reverse lamps stay on? So what do? Verify the customer concern. Yes, reverse lamps stay on. Pinpoint test. Hook up the computer, put it in reverse, neutral, drive, manual, drive, neutral, reverse, park, and then watch on the computer to see if the transmission range sensor is actually doing what it's supposed to do. And it does. So this body control module, it has you unplug connector. This is the battery junction box where it gets power from. This is the body control module, which would be this body control module. Connector 2280C. And you see this right here, green-brown wire. Okay, that's the backup light, which actually runs across like this. This is the left hand, this is the right hand. And then there's this connector right here, which is underneath the tailgate. This connector right here, it's going to be the same colored wire, is up in the left-hand fender well. It's under the hood, but up in the fender well underneath the brake master cylinder. So I'm looking at this connector, which is 2280 Charlie, which is going to be this guy, the big one. Okay, what it has me do is unplug this and then see if the reverse lights go off, and if they do, replace this body control module. Replace the body control module, programmed it, had to program the 2 keys that were with it, had to do the TPMS relearn, and then I had to reset the battery monitoring system and start the vehicle. Reverse lights were still on, the backup lights. Backup lights were still on. Okay. Alright, so why would they still be on? Unplug this, and it's, green-brown, which is on the tail light. Up here is the reverse lamp, which is on this connector here. And if you flip it over, oh, I'm sorry, that's a different connector. I don't have that connector view with me, or do I? No, I don't. It's pin 19. I don't know if you can see it down there. Excuse me, pin 11. Not this big one, but this one right here. But it's going to be on the connector side. Depin it from the connector and see if it has voltage. So you depin it from the connector and plug it back in. The reverse lights do not come on. There is no voltage on that. And what that's doing is checking to see if the connector, this one over here, that is under the hood on the driver's side, under the brake master cylinder, is feeding power back over here to the body control module, which it wasn't. As soon as you put the pin back in, plug it back in, the reverse lights come back on, which and therefore sends me up here to this connector, which is 2280F. Okay, start looking at some of these pins down in here. The very bottom left, probably can't see it too well. That's pin 40. The one next to it to the right is pin 30. The one above it is 39. And the one above that is 38. And then over here, not the one on the far right, you might be able to see that number down in there, but right here in the middle, that's pin 20, 19, and 18. See? 40, 39, 38, 20, 19, 18. Alright, so what is 18? That wakes up the PCM. What is 19? Battery monitoring system. Okay, But if I unplug that connector, then the reverse lights are still on. What's 20? Horn works. All right, what's 38? Turn lamp, right front. 38, turn lamp, right front. I don't know why. CLS 25, I don't know why it's printed on there twice. 39, left front, turn lamp. And 40, daytime running lights. So, none of this has given me an issue, because I can unplug these and it doesn't work. I can unplug the harness that's down there and the lights go off. I can unplug the harness that's up behind underneath the master cylinder and the lights go off. So the picture that you saw, which I don't have a picture of it here, this would be the battery junction box. This is the fuse box that's in the battery. This fuse right here is a 40 amp. This is fuse 1. This is what controls your reverse lights. Pull that fuse, the reverse lights were still on, and the left front headlight came on. So why would that be? This hole and this hole is for the bolts that hold the connectors underneath. This is where all your battery stuff hooks up. There's relays and fuses all in here, but you have to take all the fuses and relays out so you can see, so I can literally open it. But if we look close, that one right there, let me kind of set it down. This one would be for the reverse lamps. There's no corrosion in there. But you get to looking around at some of these. Some of these have corrosion on them. Look at that one. The pins look all jacked up on that one. So I got all the fuses out of it. Flip it over. This would be the bottom half, obviously. Remember the bolt holes I was telling you about? This is where the big connectors hook up underneath. There's a plastic case on this. This is the pins for the connectors. Take this out. Look at that. So the pin for fuse 1. That's fuse 1. Flip it over. It's going to be right here. This is fuse 1. It's fine. But look at all this up here. This was all just shorted out. It got water in it. And it's located, the battery junction box is right behind the battery on the F150, the Expedition, the F250. It is right below the cowl on the passenger side, and water drips down on top of these. If you don't have the lid on all the way, this is what happens. So this was shorting out, and it was telling the BCM to turn on the reverse lamps, even though when you hook it up to the computer and you're monitoring the reverse lamps with the BCM, it says that they're off. And you can turn them on and then it'll say on. It wasn't throwing any codes. In other words, it got water in it and shorted it out. So make sure that your lids are on there. It looks horrible. There ain't no fixing that. You just got to replace it. So I got one on order. It'll be here in the morning. Special order. Emergency order. And you see how all of these are just kind of connected in some way, somehow. This whole board is toasted. But it didn't go all the way through to the bottom. So luckily, the harness side where the connectors and stuff are fine. Look at that bug. The problem was on this side. So that was a fun little electrical problem today. But I'm going to keep all these fuses. And I think there might have been a little bit of corrosion in here. Yeah, there's some right there on that pin. See how it looks a little bit thicker. That one looks a little bit thicker than the rest of them. It's got a little bit of corrosion on it. So this needed to be replaced anyway. They said go ahead and replace it, but it needs a new battery junction box as well. So I love you guys, appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one.